Good morning, internet friends. My whole internal rhythm is off kilter. I was on a plane yesterday and then I slept too much. So, oops. We should get some coffee because my brain's not gonna work unless I have coffee in it. Then I can explain to you what the hell we're doing. Coffee! I gotta say, this is the closest I felt to alone. So I think we're good to vlog in public for the time being. So we did get a lot of done admin-wise. We booked some apartment viewings. I gotta say that this is not like the ideal time to fall in love with Seattle for me. I'm a summer girly, and the sun was only briefly out for like, let's say, an hour. You know, it was kind of unfortunate that I flew out here with the intent of looking at apartments to see if I could envision living here again, what that would cost, and blah blah blah. And like literally the day I land, my old world traveling roommates come and convince me like, hey, would you want to come with us to Baja California, Mexico? So it's kind of hard to like look at like really expensive 200 square foot apartments, knowing that I could get more space for less money in Baja California. Having this option of like maybe moving abroad again with the support of friends is really interesting to me, especially when you look at like the cost of living between Seattle and Baja California. Granted, girl, I just got caught vlogging in public, and let me tell you, if I ever became a big time YouTuber, the only thing I would hire is a personal assistant to scout out areas so I don't walk past people while I'm talking to my phone. I was just getting comfortable too. I was just getting into it. I'm so embarrassed. They said hello to me. They acknowledged that what I was doing was weird. It was horrible. I'm not even going the right way anymore. I got so discombobulated. Yeah, sorry, what was I saying before I was so embarrassed? Okay, I would say I'm not moving to Baja California right this second, but I gotta tell you, it's really hard to like look at apartments in rainy Seattle when your world traveling friends ask you if you want to go to sunny Baja California together. There are pros and cons to living abroad. Like for instance, if my main focus was to save money, there are definitely a lot less expensive places to do so than Seattle, Washington. You don't have to just go abroad to like one of the most expensive cities in Mexico. But for someone like me who kind of has champagne taste on a beer budget, as my therapist once said, living in like a nice city in another country is a really interesting prospect for me. I mean, also there are things I legitimately love about Seattle. I love how it looks. Like spring into early fall is beautiful. The summers in Seattle like just absolutely overflow my cup with serotonin. Like I get more vitamin D than I could ever dream of. The sun does not set until like 9 p.m. During fall, like this is like beautiful Seattle weather. I like seeing the leaves change. I also think from like politically, it's where I want to be. I feel a lot more comfortable like spouting off my like political opinions because I'm in an area that is more likely to be like in line with my political beliefs. That's really comforting and feels very safe. There's a lot of street art. There are independent theaters, which really warms my artsy-fartsy heart. The problem is it's so fucking expensive. Me and my two world traveling friends are in agreement that if money weren't an object, Seattle's great, you know? Well, for me, I personally like a lot more sun, but they don't mind rain and cloudiness the same way I do. So for them, this is a great place to live if money were no object. But it is, and unfortunately is an object. It's a big old object. So yeah, I know I'm kind of using this as a diary to like talk about like, ooh, what do I want to do with my life? But I do feel a responsibility as someone who's posting things on like a public platform to just like talk like more candidly and more accurately about the challenges of solo travel and living abroad. For example, when you're first starting out, making friends is hard, especially if you're traveling alone. You will meet a lot of cool people while you travel, but oftentimes you will be ships passing in the night. You may have like a lovely day together or a lovely few days together, and then they will be off to their next adventure, and you will be in the same place you are. Existing in a country where you don't speak the language is really isolating. It's hard, it's nerve-wracking. Every interaction is just a little bit more stressful because you're not quite sure what the person is going to say. Even if you learned how to speak the language, every time you have an interaction, you have to pay attention with your whole brain in order to understand what they're saying. That's exhausting, it is. I personally like the person I am when I'm traveling. I like how it challenges me, how it's always forcing me to stretch myself. So I like the thought of traveling again and going back to that place that will continue to challenge me, but in ways that I know that I'm capable of rising to. I don't know if that is helpful. I want to emphasize that I'm both very pro travel, but also kind of aware that my circumstances that led me to thrive in travel might not be the same for you. I don't know if this is interesting to you. Well, it's kind of interesting to me, and I feel like I'm my own #1 fan, so I'm creating the content I want to see. All right, I think that's enough braving my fears of vlogging in public, don't you? Someone's perceiving me vlog, and I have to just dig deep and be like, you're not embarrassed, everything's fine.